today I have Mariana Martinez. She is one of my former English students. She has been writing poetry and performing on TV, at churches and schools, inspiring people with her spiritual poetry, and even the homeless.
Yes.
Tell us, Mariana, about your journey of becoming a poet.
So I first started doing poetry with Miss Carolyn when I was going to the SRCC. And so I first started doing poetry when I came to the SRCC. And Miss Carolyn helped me to find my inner poet. I think I had it in me even before. But when I came to the school and I met Miss Carolyn.
Let's talk about that first poem you wrote in the poetry contest called Life is Beautiful. What inspired you to write that?
What inspired me to do the poem Life is Beautiful was one day I seen a formal student, and he looked like he was going through some hard times in his life, and something told me to write a poem, not just for him, but he kind of inspired me to write it because of what he was going through. And so I wrote the poem Life is Beautiful, and is a very short poem. It's the first poem I did at the school, and yeah, it's a
Can you share that poem with us?
yes,
Life is Beautiful.
Yes, I can share it. Okay. So I don't have it memorized, so I'm gonna share it through my phone. So the poem is called Life is Beautiful. Life can be a beautiful place if you choose to make it that way. Those you might surround with might be one of the reasons why your life is beautiful. Beautiful is when you recognize it in the little things, like when you see a little kid playing and laughing. Life is beautiful when you remember the time you helped someone or helped them look at something in a different or better perspective. Many things can make your life beautiful. You just gotta look beyond it. Life is more beautiful when you have God in it.
Love that. The ending. And that's kind of what you've been doing ever since, is helping people make that connection to God, to remember their blessings and to feel grateful for the things they have. And you have a talent of just knowing who needs a positive, encouraging word. And that's what you did at the school, was I need to go talk to that person. I need to go pray with that person.
Yeah.
So that's a special spiritual gift that you have, and you're using poetry to do that. And what else do you want to do with your poetry?
Well, so far, just share it out when I go feed the homeless. Share my testimonial of what I've been through, of how God has been working in my life and how He brought me out the struggles. And not just the homeless, but anybody that I run into in the streets. It could be at church, at the grocery store, outside of Target. Anybody that I run into, and I feel like there's a lot of people that need to hear my testimony, or just people that have been through it, and that where there's been a way out through God.
Yes.
Yes.
And I remember you, one of my favorite poems that you got to share on TV and at a church was called Talking to God. And at the church, you got a standing ovation. Of all the poets, you were the only one that got a standing ovation. And you didn't even recognize that I said, you got a standing ovation, Mariana. They really loved it. It really inspired them. And you inspire me.
Yeah,
You
especially
inspire
you.
me.
You got really excited.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, what has poetry done for you in your life? This experience you've been through, writing and sharing.
Well, it has brought me joy. That it's helped others as well, because I used it as self-therapy to just let everything out on paper. And just is, I feel like it helped me to lift others up, to help them to see, to know that there is a God, you know, through my struggles, what He has done, and that He can do the same in their lives.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's your message, and it comes through, kind of weaving through all your poetry.
That
doesn't
God
it?
is real.
Yes.
That He does miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That there's nothing that God can't do for your life.
And He's using you to get that message out to everybody you come across on the streets. You just
To bring hope.
Mhm. So through the process of us working together, what are some of the things that really helped you, and how has the process really changed you?
If anybody is looking to get into poetry and wants to find their inner self through poetry, I want to encourage you to work with Miss Carolyn, because she has a really great spirit and she has a lot of wisdom, and God uses her a lot, and I feel she has helped me through the process, and I know that she can do the same for you.
Hello, Carolyn Kay with the new Carolyn Kay show coming out on the WBTVN. I'm here with Mariana Martinez.
Hello.
In Santa Barbara on the beach. We are coming back from our first TV appearance. And Mariana, I want to introduce you and tell a little bit about her. She was my student at John Muir Charter School. She began writing poetry. She went from a dropout to a graduate poet, and now she is a very popular poet, getting standing ovations.
And going higher.
And going higher, yes.
For better goals and new things. So I just want to
tell us how you got started with poetry. What happened that got you on TV, Mariana?
So it started when I decided to go back to school and get my high school diploma. I met Miss Carolyn here, and it wasn't by accident. I knew I was there for a purpose, and I was there and I met her for a reason.
And you know, there's important people in your life.
Yes.
And you know you're meant to meet them. They have a purpose and help you, mentor you, and help you with your talents. And you've done that for me also, Mariana. We become great friends in the process.
Yes.
So how did you get poetry on TV? Tell us about that.
So it started when Miss Carolyn wanted to teach us about poetry and loving ourselves, and that's how we started doing poetry in her English class. And from there I discovered that I was meant to write, and I felt that God was giving me that the gift of writing poetry so I could share with others and, you know, lift them up through my poetry and inspire them and just have them see a different point, you know, view, you know, in their lives, you know.
Excellent, Mariana. Yes, I've found that poetry is medicine for the soul. Just writing your thoughts and feelings down and just arranging it in a flowing way can create a poem. Doesn't have to rhyme, does it?
No,
Nope, doesn't have to rhyme. And then sharing that with other people and getting their reaction, and that's what she loves to do. She's written a lot of poems. She's been on at churches and schools.
Churches, and I've, even on the street, I've shared them with people with homeless. You know, where we're feeding the homeless with the poetry group, Keynote Poets. Also, we've shared our poetry and, you know, encouraged homeless as well.
She's a great inspiration, how she turned her life around, how she found her talent of writing and sharing poetry. And she's been on TV, and she's just 24 years old, just started writing, in the last year you started writing poetry. Yeah. So it's an amazing journey. We can't wait to see what happens next. And any tips you have for people that want to write and share their poetry?
Well, I feel that it's something that comes from within. You know, you want to, maybe you're going through a problem or a situation that you haven't talked about. You know, I encourage you to write it down and to read, you know, to keep going over it and read it, you know, because that's how it helped me, you know, to feel better, you know, to just let it out, you know, just write it down. And if, maybe there's someone else that's going through something that you're going through that you don't know of, or, you know, and just share the poem with them, and it'll inspire them and lift them up in a way that you can't even imagine.
Thank you, Mariana, for being who you are and inspiring and lifting up so many people.
So the poem I'm gonna do is called Talking to God. In all times, Lord, I look to you because you sustain me. You give me the strength to keep on going. Lord, you never leave me. You give me courage when I feel like I'm not able to do something on my own. You pick me up when I fall. Still you're there, letting me know that you care. Your love that's like no other, uncomparable, something unexplainable. I know that I can't live without you. You're everything that I breathe, the positivity, the guidance that I need. I won't be afraid because you are the Almighty, you are my King. In the cross of Calvary, you sacrificed your life and you died for me. What other proof do I need? That if it wasn't for your grace, for your love and your patience, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be lost stranded in the desert with no water. But you rescued me right on time. You let it rain from the sky, gave me a second chance. Yeah, that's my Heavenly Father. Like Brother 7, this faith walk ain't no cakewalk. This is the hardest thing I ever had to do. I choose to do right and follow the truth. So when the trumpets sound, I want to be on my way to heaven. Looking back on my life, proud to say that I made it. Cut. Going through a time where the sun for me at some point didn't shine. Where it was dark, where I felt empty. I'd find this tunnel where I'd go and hide. Heard echoing voices telling me your life don't matter. You're never going to be happy. Maybe you should kill yourself. You ain't got nobody, not even your family. There were days that I came to realize that these were all lies from the enemy. The devil, man, he really had a good grip of me. Found myself in a place of resentment. Throughout the years, I felt like I didn't belong. A lot of times I wished to run away, to forget about everything. From my problems, from my misery, to find a new beginning. I thought if I ran somehow, everything would get better. And maybe in this lifetime, I was destined to be someone greater. I cried, who was I kidding? I'm getting older, and I'm still stuck in the same place of disorder. I'm tired, Lord, I don't know what to do. When will this be over? God, please, if you can hear me, let me feel at peace. Every day I'd wake up, didn't want to get out of bed. Now I close my eyes, when I open them again, that this would all just be a nightmare, a bad dream. I put my face to the pillow, man, that's when I would yell and scream. There was no one I can open up to, or maybe I did. I grew up having trust issues, especially in men. Growing up, my dad wasn't around. Only man in the house was my brother. Because of my mistakes, rebellious ways, he talked down on me, judged me, never encouraged me. Instead, he would step all over me like if I hadn't had enough. Every word that come out his mouth came fast and hit hard like bullets. I told God if the important men in my life would do this, the rest would probably do the same. I hold back my feelings I had hurt, I was in pain. When I think of what I've been through from when I was a little girl, I also blame my mother for everything I went through. I never wanted to be around her. All we did was argue. I cursed at her when I get mad. My poor mom took a lot from me, and just like her, deep inside, I was always sad. Then there was my sister. We never got along. We were always fighting. Seemed like she never liked me. When I came to the school, Miss Carolyn said she started doing poetry with us, and I was like, oh, well, I think, I write, but I never shared it, but I was gonna give it a try. So I gave it a try, and something was telling me to write poetry to encourage others, through my testimony. So I was like, I'm gonna write poetry about what I went through. And
So yeah, that's how I started writing. So this one's called Taking Control, and this one goes for me. You know, it could go to anybody else, but I applied this one for myself as well. So it says, taking control. You can doubt yourself 1,000 times, but God never doubted you when He made you. He created you to stand out. It's up to you if you want to accept the gift of being able to do what you were called to be. Being able to embrace the beauty within you of being unique. Being able to love freely, unconditionally, able to help the one in need. Able to forgive even when you're betrayed, used, or hurt very deep. Understanding that some of us are just more damaged than the other. Being able to say a prayer for your sister or your brother. The ability to choose to care. Us as human beings will always fail. Just know Jesus Christ for you, He will forever and always be there. You're able to choose a different path. You're able to start over. You have the ability to make your mind up, to not give up and keep moving forward. See the road ahead offers a new destiny. We have the ability to make a sacrifice, to take advantage of new opportunities. Who says that you can't? Who says you can't make it? We have the ability to take control. In this world, having to stay on survival mode is that time to fight and go to war. You have the ability to let good things happen. Let God be a part of every situation. You won't be disappointed. Just trust Him. And I like that part of 2 of Timothy 1:7. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love, self-control. Amen. Amen. And it's called Talking to God. In all times, Lord, I look to you because you sustain me. You give me the strength to keep on going. Lord, you never leave me. You give me courage when I feel like I'm not able to do something on my own. Amen. You pick me up when I fall. Still, you're there letting me know that you care. Your love is like no other, uncomparable, something unexplainable. I know that I can't live without you. You're everything that I breathe, the positivity, the guidance that I need. Yes. I won't be afraid because you are the Almighty. You are my King. Yes. In the cross of Calvary, you sacrificed your life and you died for me. What other proof do I need? That if it wasn't for your grace, for your love and your patience, I don't know where I'd be. Woo. I'd be lost, stranded in the desert with no water. But you rescued me right on time. You let it rain from the sky, gave me a second chance. Yeah, that's my Heavenly Father. Like Brother 7, this faith walk ain't no cakewalk. This is the hardest thing I ever have to do. I choose to do right and follow the truth, so when the trumpet sound, I want to be on my way to heaven. Looking back on my life, proud to say that I made it.
My name is Mariana. I'm 23 years old. I started writing poetry since I was younger. There was a time that I was going through things, and to me that was like a form of expression and, you know, like therapy. So, you know, I just started writing everything that was in my head, everything that I was feeling, you know, just write it down. So, yeah, let me start with my phone. Okay. It's crazy how everything happened. Just as when you were little and everything was blurry, you remember your mom walking you to school in a hurry. When you started growing and started understanding that a lot of things you were doing were bad. Maybe something affected you when you realized the world is cold and sad. It's crazy how also those bad things that happened in your lifetime can change you so many ways. Trying to catch up to reality felt like miles away.